Hello everyone, welcome to our Sobi channel. Today we'll be having an introduction and walkthrough for Godzilla card game. So to get started in this game, you'll be requiring 3 sets of things. First, you need your Godzilla, the namesake card of this card game. You'll have 4 of it with Roman numerals 1 to 4 as for your monster deck. Next, you'll have 50 cards as your main deck, which we'll use to do battle with your opponent. And finally, you'll have rage cards. So without further ado, let us get started. Rock, paper, scissors. So since I won the rock, paper, scissors, I'll be going first. So to get started, both players will be drawing 5 cards from the top of their deck. Next, you take your Godzilla with rank 1 from your monster deck and place it on area 1. So now, let us get started. So at the beginning of your turn, you'll be drawing a new card for a turn. So the amount of cards you draw for the turn is based around the rank of your opponent's Godzilla. Since we both started at rank 1, I'll be drawing 1 card based on my opponent's rank 1. Now we'll move on to the main phase. In main phase, there are 5 different actions you can take. For this turn, I'll be performing 2 of them. First, the most important action you can take in this game is invading with your Godzilla. So one of the objectives of this game is to move your Godzilla throughout these 8 areas and finally move your Godzilla into your opponent's territory and you will win the game. So I will discard a card from my hand. So you can discard any card in your hand that has the invade icon. The invade icon can be found on the bottom left corner with the footprint icon. As this card has a footprint icon of 1, I'll be advancing my Godzilla by 1 space. Next, another action you can take during your turn is to gain rage. To do so, take any monster card in your hand. The monster card can be found on the top right hand corner to indicate that it's a monster. You can discard it to gain 1 rage. So rage cards goes in your rage zone, and for every rage card you have in your rage zone, the threat of your Godzilla is increased by 5,000. So the threat level is the amount of counter power you will need to counteract your opponent's Godzilla. So currently my Godzilla is at 11,000 power. So after the main phase, there will be the counter phase. If there are any battle cards that you have played onto the field, you'll be adding up the counter power of your battle cards and incorporating the threat level of your opponent's Godzilla. Since there are no battle cards at the moment, I'll be moving to the end of the turn. At the end of the turn, if your Godzilla is in area 7 or below, he will automatically advance 1 more space. Next, at the end of the turn, you will also draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. Since I have 4 cards, I'll be drawing an additional card to bring me back up to 5.
At the end of my opponent's turn, now it is my turn, right? So the turn will pass over. At the start of my turn, I will draw cards based on my opponent's Godzilla rank, so I'll draw 1. Alright, so I'll be discarding a card to invade 2 spaces. So my Godzilla will move 1, 2. As my opponent's Godzilla is in zone 3, I'll be able to play battle cards rank 3 and below. So I will be playing a battle card, Mothra, in zone 7, and I'll be playing a battle card, Batra, in zone 6. I will now be moving on to the counter phase. So in the counter phase, you add up your counter power, as mentioned earlier. So my counter power currently is 1000 plus 2000, so this is 3000. As it does not meet my opponent's 11,000, the counter does not successfully go through. Counter phase is important because this is one of the other victory conditions, as mentioned earlier. So if you counter your opponent's Godzilla 4 times, you will win the game. Right. So as the counter phase is ended and nothing has occurred, my Godzilla will proceed to move 1 step at the end phase, and then I will draw cards back up to 5.
Yep. Okay. And now I'll begin my turn. So at the beginning of my turn, I will draw a new card. Draw 1 for my opponent's rank 1 Godzilla. Next, any cards in my rage zone will be removed. After drawing, I'll begin my main phase. So in my main phase, once again, there are all 5 actions you can take. So for this turn, for my first action, I would like to declare to invade. So for this time, I'll be discarding a monster card to invade. So when doing so, please make sure your opponent understands that you are using the invade action instead of the gain rage action. The gain rage action can be done multiple times a turn, while the invade action can only be done one time a turn.
Okay.
So I'll be advancing one space as the card has an invade icon of 1. Next, I'll be playing out battle cards. So I would like to play Heisei Maru on area 8. Since it's rank 2, I can play it as my opponent's a rank 4. Next, I'll also play a rank 4 battle card, Reinforcements, in area 2. And then I would also like to gain rage for this turn, so I'll be discarding a monster card to gain rage. And now we'll move on to the counter phase. So in the counter phase, Reinforcement has 2000 and Heisei Maru has 2000. However, Reinforcement has the Awakening 4 keyword ability. So Awakening is an ability that a card possesses and it's active when your Godzilla is in that space or higher. As my Godzilla is in area 4, the Awakening 4 will be active, so Reinforcement has an additional 3000 power. So now that Reinforcement is 5000, combined with Heisei Maru's 2000, I have a total counter power of 7000 to my opponent's threat level of 6000.
So Godzilla has been countered successfully by my opponent. So in zones 1 to 5, when you are countered, nothing really happens. Your Godzilla simply just becomes 1 rank higher, right? However, when you are in zones 6, 7 and 8, if you are countered, based on the downward arrows, you move your Godzilla down. So for zone 8, you move to zone 3, zone 7, you move to zone 4, and zone 6, you move to zone 5, right? Since my Godzilla is currently in zone 4, I will simply put a Godzilla from my monster deck over to evolve my Godzilla. So now my Godzilla is rank 2. When this Godzilla becomes rank 2, he has an enter ability. So the enter ability is to destroy one of my opponent's rank 4 or lower battle cards. So I'll proceed to destroy my opponent's reinforcements.
Alright, so I will destroy reinforcements. You'll go into my discard area. So that is all for the counter phase, so we're moving to the end of the turn. So once again, my Godzilla will advance 1 space, and since I have 2 cards, I'll be drawing 3 additional cards to bring me back up to 5 cards.
Right, so now is the start of my turn. Based on my opponent's Godzilla rank, I will draw 1. I will enter the main phase where both of my battle cards have a unique keyword. So they have this keyword called evolution, where at the start of my main phase, they will evolve. Right, so I'll first be applying the Batra's evolution 6. So I'll search my deck for a Batra of rank 6 and put it over this Batra. Right, so next my Mothra will evolve. So I'll search for rank 5 Mothra and place it over my Mothra. Alright, so Mothra is an enter keyword. So when it enters, if it's entered through evolution, I get to draw 1 card. Alright, so I'll proceed with my turn. So I'll be discarding a card to invade my Godzilla by 2 spaces. So he'll move from 4 to 6. So move 1, second step 2, right? So because Batra is in zone 6 and my current Godzilla is in zone 5, Godzilla will proceed over to zone 6, trampling over the Batra that is currently in zone 6. So when this happens, your battle card will move from the field, from the zone, to your discard pile. This is the only way that you can remove battle cards on your zone. You cannot call a new battle card over an existing battle card on the field, right? I will be increasing the threat level of my Godzilla by discarding a monster card to gain rage. So I'll gain 5000 threat level. Okay. So now after I've gained a threat level, I'll be proceeding on to the counter phase. Right? So my Mothra has 5000 counter power to my opponent's 6000 plus 5000 threat level, which is 11000. Right? So 5000 does not beat 11000, so the counter does not go through. Now I'll be proceeding on to the end phase. My Godzilla will advance 1 step, trampling over the Mothra, and I'll draw back up to 5 cards. Since I have 5 cards in hand already, I don't draw any card.
Okay, so now I will begin my turn after my opponent's turn. So when I do, I'll draw new cards for the turn. Since my opponent's a rank 2, I'll be drawing 2 cards instead of 1, unlike before. Next, any cards in my rage zones will be removed, so I'll be going back to 0 rage. So for my main phase, for my first action, I'll be discarding this battle card to declare to invade for the turn. So I'll be moving my Godzilla up 1 space. Next, I'll perform another action that you can take during your main phase that you can do once a turn. I'll be playing a monster card from my hand. When playing a monster card from your hand, you can play a monster card that is the same rank as your current Godzilla on top of your Godzilla. So I'll be playing this Godzilla. As you notice, it is actually 1 higher than my current Godzilla. However, it has the burst keyword. So for this card, with burst 1, I may play it on top of a rank 1. However, the downside is that it will go into my discard area at the end of the turn. So whenever you play a monster card on top of your Godzilla, you will also gain 1 rage. And now my Godzilla has a enter ability. So the enter ability of this card is my opponent will discard cards until they have 4 or less cards in their hand.
Right, so I'll proceed to discard the card.
So next, I'll be choosing to gain rage once more. I will discard a monster card to gain additional rage. Next, I'll play a strategy card, Godzilla Emerges. As long as you still have strategy zones that are unused, you may play a strategy card. So Godzilla Emerges is a rank 6 strategy card, but unlike battle cards, the rank that you can play is based on your Godzilla. Since I'm Godzilla's on rank 6, I may play a rank 6 or lower strategy card. So I'll play the Godzilla Emerges, it will go into my strategy zone. And when it does, its ability will be activated. So Godzilla Emerges, if I have 2 or more rage, I may search my deck for a battle card named Godzilla 2023 and add it and then play it. So I'll search for this rank 5 battle card, Godzilla 2023, and I'll play it behind my Godzilla. So Godzilla 2023's ability, it has an enter ability as well. So if my monster card has 2 or more rage, I may reduce my opponent's rage by 1. Right? And for my last action for this main phase, I would like to play this rank 6 battle card. As my opponent's at rank 7, I'll be able to play it. So I'll be playing City of Tokyo. So now we'll move to the counter phase. So Godzilla 2023 has 3000 and Shinsei Mao has 2000 for 5000 counter power. City of Tokyo has 0 counter power, however it has 2 separate abilities. So the first ability, if I have 2 or more rage, my battle card in Area 8 gains additional 5000 counter power. And it also has Awakening 6, since my Godzilla is in Area 6, it's active. My battle card in Area 8 has additional 5000 counter power on top of the first ability. So now my Shinsei Mao is 12,000. Combined with the 3000, I'll be at 15,000 counter power to my opponent's 15,000 threat level. Although the numbers match, during the counter phase, the counter power will counter the Godzilla as long as it's the same number or higher.
Right. Since Godzilla has been countered, Godzilla will move. Right, so as mentioned earlier, since he is currently in zone 7, he'll move down to zone 4. And then I'll proceed to put a higher rank Godzilla on top. So this Godzilla, rank 3 Godzilla, also has an enter ability. So when it enters, I can play 2 rank 4 or lower battle cards with evolution from my discard pile in zones adjacent to this card. So I'll play a Mothra and a Batra. So for adjacent, the keyword adjacent, right? So in zone 4, the adjacent zones are 3, 7 and 5, which is why I can play a Batra in zone 7 and my Mothra in zone 3.
Yep, so that will be the counter phase. So we're moving to the end phase of the turn. So as this Godzilla entered by burst, it will go into the discard area. My Godzilla will advance 1 more space and I'll draw back up to 5.
Right, now it's the start of my turn. My opponent's Godzilla is rank 1, so I'll draw 1 card. I'll clear any rage and strategy cards, but as my rage was cleared earlier during my opponent's turn, there's nothing to clear right now. So I'll move on to the main phase, and the evolution keywords will both trigger again. So I will first evolve my Batra. Then I'll evolve my Mothra. Similar to earlier, Mothra's ability, when it enters through evolution, I get to draw a card. I'll be proceeding to the rest of my main phase, since the start of my main phase effects have been triggered already. I will discard a card to invade 2 spaces with my Godzilla. I will also be discarding a monster card to gain rage. Now I'll move on to the counter phase. As my Godzilla is currently in zone 6, Batra has an awakening where it gets 3000 counter power, so this is 8000. My Mothra has 5000, so this is a total of 13,000. To my opponent, 6000 plus 10,000 total of threat level, so this is 16,000 total. As 13,000 does not beat 16,000, the counter is not successful. Right? So at my end phase, my Godzilla will advance 1, trampling over my Batra, then I'll draw back up to 5.
And now I'll begin my turn. So once again, I'll be drawing new cards. Since my opponent is now rank 3, I'll be drawing 3 cards. Next, my strategy cards in my strategy zone will go into the discard area, and my rage will be set to 0. And now I'll move on to my main phase. As my opponent does not have a battle card in area 8, I am able to invade onto his territory by using the invade action. So for my hand, I will discard a card with the invade icon of 2. So when I do so, my Godzilla will invade from area 7 to area 8 as the first step, trampling over Shinsei Maru, and advance 1 more step as there is no battle card in zone 8. As I advance onto my opponent's area with invade, I will win the game by invasion.
Alright, so this invasion victory condition, some people might ask, what if I have a Godzilla in zone 8 as well? So if my Godzilla was in zone 8 and my opponent was at zone 7 and he proceeded to discard the invade 2 card, right? So he will move 1 and 2. So can Godzilla invade when there's another Godzilla in zone 8? And the answer is yes. So the only thing that would stop your opponent from winning from invasion is having a battle card in zone 8. If it's a Godzilla, a monster card basically, this does not stop your opponent from invading over to your zone 8.
So to counteract your opponent's invasion, be sure to counter your opponent's Godzilla during the counter phase to send them back 1 space towards the back, so that they will need to take additional turns to get to your territories. The other victory condition that we did not show today would be for me to counter my opponent's Godzilla 2 additional times. So after the rank 3 is counted, the rank 4 will appear with even greater trap power of 35,000. If I manage to counter the 35,000 by assembling enough battle cards, I will win the game if this rank 4 is counted.
Yep.
So that is all for our introduction and walkthrough for Godzilla card game. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and if you're looking for a more concise tutorial of the game, we'll be having a short of the game as well. Thank you.